So Many Hungers. By Bhabani Bhattacharya. Bhabani Bhattacharya. Bhabani Bhattacharya, Indian writer, cultural historian, and political scientist, was born on November 10, 1906 in Bhagalpur. Earned bachelor's degree from Patna University and a doctorate from the University of London. Started his writing career with Mushak in Bengali. He went to write for the Manchester, Guardian, and the Spectator. In his mid-30s he began writing fiction set in historically and socially realistic contexts. His writings exhibit the influence of Rabindranath Tagore and Mahatma Gandhi. Won the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1967. Died on October 10, 1988. So Many Hungers. First published in October 1947. It is a realistic study of Bengal famine of 1943. It presents an authentic picture of the life in the rural India. The nationalist movement and the World War II are the background of the novel. Presents the inhuman conditions of people in a deeply stirring manner. Characters: Rahoul, working in the University of Calcutta. Manju, wife of Rahoul. Samarendra, father of Rahoul. Kunal, working in the Indian Army. Devesh, Devata, the grandfather. Onu, granddaughter of Devesh. Kanu, brother of Onu. Kajoli, sister of Onu. Zanu, mother of Kanu. Mangala, the cow. Bipin goes, rent collector of Banuri village. Girish, grocer of the village. Kishore, friend of Kanu's father. Robi, friend of Onu. Prakash, student in Rahoul's laboratory. Niri, a village girl. Captain Banerjee, working in Indian medical service. Sir Lakshmi Nath, the Prince of Black Market. Summary. The novel starts with the tension prevailing in the mind of Rahoul expecting a baby to be born. While awaiting the birth, the news was heard over the radio that the war started between Britain and Germany for the second time. Rahoul's mother recollects the birth of Rahoul during the wartime earlier when they suffered even for food. Rahoul is not only anxious about his wife's safety but also over the war. Viceroy Lord Linlithgow declared India to be at war by signing the necessary documents. Kunal enters and announces his plan to go to war as a member of the artillery division. His mother was unhappy on his decision. Rahoul asked him to support his father's business. His mother indicated the incident which happened early when many Indians were imprisoned. She also says that Manju won't allow Rahoul to go. Samarendra was busy reading the situation in the stock market and do business accordingly. Rahoul thought of visiting his grandfather in Baruni, a folk village in Bengal, and started his journey. His grandfather lived a simple life among the common people and was worried about the sufferings of the farmers. Grandfather introduced his grandchildren Kanu, Onu, and Kajoli and a cow named Mangala. Devesh, his grandfather, was called as Devata by the villagers. The grandfather discussed him the merits of the national movement and his participation in civil disobedience years ago. He also stated that the landlords have grown to fear the peasant masses and mass literacy. He indicates Bipin Ghosh, a rent collector who has become a landlord later. Grandfather, now 70 years old, had retired from his work as a teacher in the city school. He considers education would make the trampled ones conscious of their right to lead a happy life. He said to Rahoul that he is running a school in the village. Rahoul would have gladly followed the footsteps of his grandfather but was denied by his father from going to London to have his higher studies. As the Soviets stepped into Poland, Samarendra played his cards well to earn from the stock market. Rahoul and his father had discussion on the air secretary's broadcast. In the meantime, the police officials arrived and got the signature in the visitor's book at Government House. He was invited for a function which was scheduled on the 20th of next month. Samarendra asked Rahoul also to be there in that function to make a strong impression as he posses D.Sc from Cambridge. After that, Samarendra told Rahoul that it is tough to live with a mere income. He also stated that he is making easy money from the war for the luxury of his family. Samarendra thought a title as the tattoo mark of royalty and dreamt of a title Rai Bahadur Samarendra Basu. He also dreamt to contribute to the war fund with the amount he received from the share market during the wartime. Unexpectedly, the Calcutta share exchange had crashed. Samarendra's large profits had been wiped clean as though they were mere figure on a slate. He resumed to practice at the High Court as a criminal lawyer, working harder than before. As there were changes in the war, Samarendra was able to balance his economy. He had great plans for Rahoul and introduced him to the secretary, stating did D.Sc. in Cambridge University and specialized in astrophysics. The American president has now signed the Lease-Lend Bill. The share market again crashed after the bombing in Rangoon. An idea struck Samarendra when he encountered a man begging him to provide a grain of rice. He planned to establish his business by setting up Bengal Rice Limited, a private company to supply rice to army. The national movement was worried about England's war situation, and Rahoul thought of the struggle of the people to rescue the democracy of the nation. Prakash, the research student of Rahoul, placed a copy of Statement of Nehru at his trial in Gorakhpur prison. This was banned and Rahoul was eager to see this statement. Rahoul loved to fight for the elemental urges of freedom, but Manju and the baby kept him back. In Baruni, the fisher folk faced the first assault from the war. The battle fleet of Japan ruled the waves of the bay. They burned the boats and the natives became helpless, which led to the economic downturn. The agents of the rulers had robbed them, and Girish, the grocer of the village, thought of owning a boat for him. He planned to transport and trade the groceries and also the rice produced in the village of Banuri. With the help of the company, he thought of selling the rice for a huge amount, but the government overtook the business. Davida asked the folks to think over the act of trading with them, and this made a balance in the villagers' economy. Unexpectedly, 10 days the city was in the grip of revolt. Rahoul made his first gesture of rebellion in a demonstration. Nehru and Gandhiji proposed the Quit India resolution but were imprisoned before the implementation. Demonstration were there in the village too, and the folks were arrested, including Davida and Zanu. Davida asked the folks not to involve in violence and betray the flag as they were demonstrating in front of the red turbans. Violence prevailed everywhere and the men burned the post office, and Kanu and others were arrested. One day Kishore was sent by their father, who was arrested because he held a strike in the cotton mill. As per the wish and the communication from the father, Kishore and Kajoli got married after 2 moons. Rahoul visits the village once again bearing the news about Davida. Rice and provisions were already running out in the village and the policemen were very harsh with the rebels. Kishore decided to leave the village and go back to the city to work, but was shot dead on his way since guards were there to ensure the security of His Highness, who travelled in a train. Destitute humanity was overflowing into the city in large numbers as the man-made hunger ahs crept in. Rahoul witnessed men, women, and children fall down because of hunger as Bengal is in economic crisis. Somewhere in the Libyan desert, Kunal had written to his brother stating Indian soldiers defeated the white troops. The Battle of Bengal thickened and hunger prevailed all over the land. Kajoli's family too copes with the starvation. The mother saw a lady burying her dead child because of hunger, and so she gave Mangala, the cow, to her and asked her to move to Calcutta so that she may have a life there. In her home, people from the city showered them with gifts. Their intention was to buy Kajoli and prostitute her in the city. Knowing their intention, mother banished them from the home. Hunger and misery was gnawing deeply in the land. Onu tried to collect figs, and in the meantime he met Robi, who is the bread maker of his family, and insisted him to take more. On the other hand, the mother saw a village girl Neri who is living a luxurious life with the intentional help of wealthy men. One evening Kajoli was attacked by jackals and Onu rescued her. She was taken to the hospital in Calcutta through the Strand Road by Captain Banerjee of Indian Medical Service. In the city, mother and Onu joined the thousands of destitutes. People were debasing themselves for the sake of food. Rahoul tried his best to help the people who were suffering. Kajoli, while discharged from the hospital, realized the real situation of the society where mother and Onu were suffering. Brothels and prostitution flourished as great business. Without any other option, Kajoli surrendered herself in the flesh market to provide food for her mother and Onu. Devesh led a hunger strike inside the prison. On hearing this, Kajoli stepped back from her work as a prostitute and started to sell newspapers. Kajoli, mother, and Onu wished to see Rahoul. Samarendra got the information that his son Kunal is missing from the Indian army. Rahoul and others were arrested and were on the way to the prison. He said goodbye to the family, and Manju and his daughter missed him while he was arrested. Manju also asserted that she too will follow this. Mother on the other hand went to the Ganges and threw herself from the bridge and drowned herself to end all her suffering. All the characters suffered a lot because of the war and the famine which occurred because of the war. The writer ends the novel with a hope of enjoying the freedom of the nation and a bright future ahead. The united voice, the more they tighten the chains, the more the chains loosen, seems to be full of hope because of the intensifying and continuing struggle. For more videos, like, share, subscribe. Thank you.